Hello people, I'm the Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm doing my spoiler discussion review for Rogue One. So if you have not seen the movie, major spoilers ahead. I already did a spoiler for a review. If you haven't seen that, you can go check it out. But yeah, that's your spoiler warning. Don't watch this if you haven't seen the movie, because I'm going to be spoiling a lot of stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm just going to start off by talking about the Vader scene, because that was my favorite part of the entire movie, and it was just amazing. When that first happened, so he's going on the ship, he's trying to get the Death Star plans. They're boarding, and you see there's just blackness, and then suddenly his lightsaber ignites, and you see all the fog around, or smoke, whatever, gets it turned red because of his lightsaber, and you see Vader there, and then it zooms in on a rebel soldier, and when it did that, I was like, no, they're gonna cut away. We're not gonna see this. We're just gonna hear it from another room. We're just gonna hear a bunch of guys dying, and then they showed. I was like, thank God. That was so awesome. When he takes that one dude, throws him up on the roof, kills everyone, slashes the dude down that was up on the ceiling. And then I love how the one guy was like, here, open the door so I can get through. And then he realized Vader's coming, he's not going to make it. So he's like, just take the plans and run. Because that dude's like, yeah, I'm not making this. Goodbye. And that scene, it was so amazing. And it showed how Vader was a force to be reckoned with. And I love the connection there they made, because we had heard forever the fact that Rogue One ends 10 minutes before Episode 4. So Gareth Edwards did a really good job of connecting those two, showing that, okay, this is how it all happens. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because of the fact, one scene doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the fact that in the Episode 4 in A New Hope, when Vader questions her, she's like, I was Leia, she being Leia, Leia's like, I was on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. Vader could have been like, yeah, I was chasing you. I know you got the Death Star plans. You were not on some diplomatic mission to Alderaan. Granted, that doesn't ruin anything. That's just a little nitpick, especially because that Vader thing. Whoa, that Vader scene leaves you so hyped out of the theater. Even if for some reason, because I like the movie, but if you hated the movie and then that scene happened, you will come out of the theater so hyped just purely off that scene. Because I thought the movie was good. I didn't think it was amazing or anything. I thought it was pretty good. But coming out of the theater, I had so much of a better feeling than if they wouldn't have had that scene, because that scene it takes your hype levels just beyond expectations. It was so great. I want to see it over and over and over again, and I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray so I can do so. I've only seen the movie once so far. This is Thursday night that I'm recording this right now. I'm going to go and see it again. I'm going to go see it in IMAX the second time, because the first time I wanted to see it in IMAX, but every theater's changed to reserved seating, which sucks. So there's no getting hyped, going there a couple hours early, waiting in line with a bunch of other Star Wars fans and stuff, which I always enjoyed that experience. But now every theater's changed to reserved seating, so that sucks. So I didn't get to see it in IMAX, but I'm going to see it in IMAX for my second viewing, and I can't wait. I would say the Vader scene is definitely the best part of the movie. I didn't really talk about a whole lot of negatives in the movie because I couldn't in my spoiler for review, so let's talk about that here. I don't have a whole lot, but there are some things. I'd say the worst thing this movie does is the fact that there's some stuff that's just not really interesting. Right after, when we get to Jyn's grown up after the flashback from the beginning. That part's interesting, and then we get to her, and she's like, okay, I'm just doing my thing. She gets saved by some rebels, and then the rebels are like, hey, we need you for this reason, then we get some Saw Gerrera stuff, and it was that stuff's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just kind of, it's meh. It's okay, this is kind of filler. It's I could do with something else. That's kind of the biggest fault of this movie, is stuff like that, to where it's just I'm not really interested with what's going on here, if you know what I'm saying. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just in between. You don't really want that. You want something that's that's good. It doesn't have to be some insane action set piece. That's not what I'm saying. Just something interesting that's going on. When Luke goes to Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back, it's not some huge action set piece or anything, but it's interesting what Luke's doing there. And the same with in Empire Strikes Back when they're on Cloud City and we meet Mando and stuff. It's interesting stuff is going on. With her around Jeddah and stuff, I didn't really care. I just wasn't really interested. Granted, it was really cool seeing the Stormtroopers go around and everything. Just seeing the mass amounts of Stormtroopers was awesome. Let's talk about Stormtroopers real quick, actually, since they were a big presence in the movie. They still suck, like always. I was hoping we'd maybe see them, kick some ass or something. But they didn't really do anything. I can't really fault the movie for that because that's the way the Stormtroopers like always were. Besides the beginning of A New Hope on Tantive 4 when they like kill everyone. Besides that part, they've kind of sucked always. So yeah, they still sucked in this. I will say it was a little silly when Jyn started beating them with her baton. Like her out shooting and stuff, fine, that makes sense. But when there were like several of them just watching her beat a dude with a baton. And the first part with Donnie Yen's character, I don't remember the name of his character, I don't think I can pronounce it. I looked it up on IMDb, and I was like, I have no clue how to pronounce that. But Donnie Yen's character, I liked his character. I didn't love him, but I liked his character. He's a good character. I like the way he fought for the most part, but there's one part where he takes a dude, uses him as a shield, and the Stormtrooper just repeatedly shoots his buddy like 10 times. And it's like, you really couldn't stop or aim around or adjust somehow. You're just going to repeatedly shoot your friend right there. Like, that's, okay, but you know, that's just nitpicky stuff, nothing that I'm like taking away from the movie there. So yeah, the Death Troopers though were awesome. I would like to have seen them do a bit more, but I thought it was pretty cool how Krennic's just like, okay, two of my guys with me, the rest go down there and take care of business because Stormtroopers are just getting destroyed left and right. So the Death Troopers go down there, they kill everyone. Like, they go down there, and they kill everyone. Like, that one dude, when they're like, we need to go to the Master Switch, or whatever it was called, and the one dude's like, I'll do it, he pops out immediately dead, and it's like, the Force is not with him, and the Force is not with that poor guy. And so then Donnie Yen's character, you know, goes out there, the Force protects him. It makes sense, because it does look a little silly, but at the same time, it does make sense. Like, Luke being able to make the shot on the Death Star, never would have been able to make that before, but because the Force guy did it and everything, it was the Force that made him be able to make that shot. So I thought that was pretty cool. How he was able to go out there and make that switch. Then his buddy comes out there, like, you know, they killed Donnie Yen. Then his buddy goes out there, and I thought that scene could have been handled better. How his buddy goes against the I don't remember his name, it was like Baze or something like that. Sorry, I don't remember that character's name. But anyways, he goes out there and he's like fighting all the Death Troopers, and they did it to me a little bit too slow and made the Death Troopers look a little bit too much like Stormtroopers. That scene, I'm glad the fact that they killed him in the end, because you know they are called Death Troopers, but it was still a little silly how that scene was handled, because he's like just walking up, shooting, reloading, shooting, reloading, and all the Stormtroopers Death Troopers are just like, let's run up to him one at a time, and oh no, I'm dead, and then the dude gets him with a grenade, or thermal detonator, or whatever it was. So yeah, I was happy that the Death Troopers took care of business, though. They killed a ton of just normal rebels and then 2 main characters. That's huge for Death Troopers to do, especially if you compare it to what, like, the Imperial Guards or Stormtroopers do. Those guys, like, never do anything. So for Death Troopers to do that, that's pretty big. Actually, yeah, let's cover character deaths. So I already talked about Donnie Yen's death and Baze's death, which I thought their deaths were handled pretty well, but again, I thought Baze's death was a little silly, how he was able to just go out there and, like, slowly take on each Death Trooper, like, one by one, especially as they were, like, destroying people, like, a few minutes earlier, but overall, it was handled fine. K-2SO's death I thought was handled good, and I figured he was going to die. Actually, let's talk about that. My predictions for who was going to die in the movie, I thought everyone but Jyn or so was going to die. I figured that I just didn't think Disney would, like, have the guts to let them, like, let the scriptwriter or whoever, or Gareth Edwards, whoever was behind, who decided who died. I didn't think they would let them, like, give them the have the guts to let them do that, because a lot of time Disney is just all about fun and stuff, and we can't have kids see movie characters die. That would be bad. That being said, I'm proud about the fact that this movie had the balls to kill them. Like, I couldn't believe they did it, and I was happy about that, because I thought everyone but Jyn or so. I thought, no way they killed Jyn or so, and then they did, and I was happy with it. I thought they had sort of like a nice death, Jyn and Cassian dying. Cassian Andor, my favorite character in here, but yeah, they had a nice little death, because they had like a spat earlier, and then they had a nice little arc together, and they there was romance in the air, but they never really addressed any of it, and nothing really happened, and they didn't like kiss or anything at the end. They just did kind of like a hug, so it seemed sort of like he got like friend zoned at the very end, which kind of sucks for him. So poor Cassian. But yeah, the character deaths, man, they had the balls to do it, so I was happy about that. I thought all the character deaths were handled pretty well. I really like Cassian Andor's character showing sort of a gray area to the rebellion, being like, hey, the rebellion has to do bad stuff for what they need to accomplish what they do, which is, you know, happens a lot in war, so it makes sense that in Star Wars, the rebellion, even the good side, has to do some bad stuff to reach their end goal. And I really liked him showing that. Diego Luna killed it. And I love the scene between Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor when they're on the ship, and she's getting all mad about him, about the fact that, hey, you know, you almost killed my father, you were trying to kill him, and all this stuff. And I thought it was going to be like, oh, he's just going to take it, and that's going to be the scene. No, he comes back, he's like, yeah, you know, you're not the only one that went through all this. I lost all my family. Just some of us decided to do something about it. I was like, oh, snap, he came back at her. I really liked that. That was one of my favorite scenes. After that scene, I was like, you know, Cassian Andor's really awesome. Because up until then, I liked him. But after that scene, I was like, okay, he's pretty cool. And then those two had a nice arc. And Jyn Erso was a great character. I was afraid they were going to Reyify her. So you know how in Rey, for like The Force Awakens, she was just this all-powerful person that could do anything, and it didn't make any sense. And I know everyone's excuses, well, we don't know her backstory, we'll find it out later, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. That shouldn't matter right now. We should know some things. Instead, she's good at everything in The Force Awakens. She's amazing with the Millennium Falcon, even though she never flew it. She's never flown off planet before, and even in like, well, I think it was A New Hope when Luke's like the Millennium Falcon starts beeping, and Luke's like, "What's that?" Luke, who had flown a bunch of ships before and would regularly fly his T-16, but no, Rey, who's never flown the Millennium Falcon or anything, she's like, you know, I know how the Millennium Falcon works. I know it better than Han Solo himself. But yeah, Rey's she's great with a lightsaber, she's great with the Force, she saved herself from the Starkiller base, didn't need them. She's just amazing at everything for no apparent reason, and the only excuse is, well, the Force, and that's why. And it's like, okay, that the Force only goes, that's not how the Force works. The Force only goes so far, and she's just amazing at everything. To where Jyn, it made sense why she was good at stuff, and she wasn't amazing at everything. She was a great warrior. She was trained by Saw Gerrera ever since she was really little. She became like the best warrior when she was just 16 years old, so it makes sense that she's really good at fighting and everything, can take out a bunch of stormtroopers. And even then, she still got put in spots where she needed help, like when Cassian Andor saved her at the end, or prior to the very end, where he saved her from the Death Troopers and stuff. It was like, okay, I like seeing a character with vulnerabilities. Luke was very vulnerable throughout the entire original trilogy. Rey, not so much in The Force Awakens. Jyn, very vulnerable. A character that is powerful yet vulnerable. I like seeing that. I like thinking that, you know, something could happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like that. And with Rey, I didn't feel that. With Jyn, I did. And I was like, okay, thank God they actually did this. They didn't just pull a Rey with all of this. So yeah, I was happy about that. And I really liked Rey's character. I liked her backstory. I felt like something that sort of took away that could have added emotion to the scene where she sees her father in the hologram. It's like, okay, she hasn't seen him so she's in like 15 years or whatever it was. It's been a while, and so I didn't really feel a lot of emotion there. I felt like if maybe John Williams would have scored that part, if we would have gotten, because I think they played actually Binary Sunset, which was my favorite track from the original Star Wars trilogy. I think they played that during that, but it was a variation of it, and it just didn't really work. And just, yeah, I felt like if they would have played, like, a track that really fit it and everything, it would have been better. But instead, I believe they played, like, a variation of Binary Sunset, and it didn't sound too good. If they would have played, like, the original Binary Sunset, it would have been fine. They also played, like, a variation of the Imperial March. And, yeah, just the soundtrack felt lacking. And to me, the soundtrack could have added, like, an emotional oomph to some scenes that was not there because he didn't have John Williams scoring it, which kind of sucked. Not a whole lot left to say. Vader made a pun, which he doesn't strike me as a punny guy. Like the part where he just goes and Krennic goes up to him, and then, you know, Krennic's saying all this stuff and he chokes and he's like, don't choke on your ambition, or whatever he said. It was just like, okay, that was one of the few parts that felt like out of it to me, because for the most part it felt a lot like the original trilogy in terms of tone and everything. Like the humor felt on point to the original trilogy, not like the Force Awakens humor, which was very forced and stupid. This humor felt natural to me. Actually, Krennic. Let's talk about Krennic, because he was a character that I did not care for at all, which was disappointing because I like Ben Mendelsohn and I thought he did a good job, but his character literally does nothing in this movie. Like, nothing at all. I wanted to see him do something, and he ends up doing absolutely nothing. Like, in the end, I can't think of him really doing anything. Like, he put a lot of people in crap situations, but they always got out of it. Nothing happened. Krennic was just kind of there. He didn't have a whole lot of screen time. He didn't even kill her father. The rebels did that with the airstrike. Like, yeah, nothing really happened with Krennic, which really disappointed me, because all the trailers and everything, I was like, ah, I can't wait to see what happens with Krennic. And then nothing really happens. But yeah, Overall, I did enjoy the movie. It's a Star Wars movie, so obviously I'm gonna have to watch it like 1,000 more times and sit on it and stuff and think about it in order to like really place it in the order of movies. Because right now my order goes Empire Strikes Back is my favorite from best to worst. Empire Strikes Back number 1, Return of the Jedi number 2, A New Hope number 3, Revenge of the Sith or Rogue One is number 4. It's hard to say because again I know some people hate Revenge of the Sith, some people love it. I'm in between. I'm into where like I think it's a good movie. It's not great. There's a lot of wasted potential. It could have been an amazing movie with just some small tweaks here and there. But overall, I do like Revenge of the Sith, and what's good in that movie is really good. What's bad in that movie is really bad. That's the thing. Like, it's kind of like it's the extremes. Also, it's the closest we've gotten to an Obi-Wan-ish movie, because Obi-Wan's my favorite character, and we got a lot of Obi-Wan in that movie, and so I really like seeing Obi-Wan do his thing in Revenge of the Sith. So it's hard to rate which one. I also have a lot of nostalgia for Revenge of the Sith, because I've seen it so many times. So it's hard to say where Rogue One is, but right now it's like tied with Revenge of the Sith. Like, in a year or two from now, I'll be able to say, okay, I like Rogue One better, I like Revenge of the Sith better. But yeah, that's where it ranks for me in terms of these movies, and yeah, so that's kind of it for this spoiler talk. Not a whole lot to talk about, not a whole lot more to talk about. I will be doing a nerd talk discussion with Ian about Rogue One, so that way you'll get 2 different points of view on it, because he didn't like it he liked the movie, but he didn't like it as much as I did. I don't think we both gave it the same rating, which if we had to rate it out of 10, then ratings are meaningless, but I would rate it an 8. That's like how it rated for me, and he said the same thing. But it seemed like I enjoyed it a bit more than he did, at least coming out of the theater and stuff. We both freaked out, went nuts over the Vader scene. But yeah, we'll be doing a discussion for Rogue One on Nerd Talk, so that way you get 2 different points of view and stuff, and we can discuss it, and it'll be like a longer video, and I hope you guys like that. Also, if you made it this far in the video, I'm probably going to be doing a live stream for Battlefront today, because I'm going to be gone this weekend. So today, Friday, is the only day I'm going to be able to stream. Not going to be able to stream Saturday and Sunday, which I normally do. So tune to that if you want to. I won't be talking about Rogue One on that stream, because I don't want people who haven't seen the movie to get it spoiled, and hopefully they're smart enough to just not look at the chat if they tune into the stream, because there will probably be some idiots putting spoilers into the chat. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Rogue One? What were your thoughts on it? What was your favorite part of it, and your second favorite, because I'm assuming everyone's favorite's the Vader part, so I want to know everyone's second favorite, because if it's not the Vader part, what's wrong with you? Let's be honest. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed the movie. It's a good movie. Not amazing, but it was an overall a good, fun Star Wars movie that I enjoyed, which is awesome, because I came out of The Force Awakens so disappointed. So coming out of the theater, well, after watching this movie, thinking it was really good, I'm happy about that. And so yeah, please let me know in the comments below what you thought of the movie, and I'll see you guys in the next one.